whenever you want it. McDonald's all-day menu. Available 24/7.
We got rid of Rusty. He's too injured. What kind of injury are you faking?
I'm not faking an injury. I feel pretty good today.
You good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had a really good nap on the plane.
That's true. You've been in a perky mood all day. And that's not something I usually say about you.
Yeah, it's not. I want to say something about the Avant Barrett.
Please.
Because Rusty made me remember a quote. And I'm real big into history at the moment, right? But Julius Caesar fought Pompey the Great. And he had this battle. And Julius Caesar had lost the battle beforehand. It was like the first battle he'd ever won. And he tells these soldiers, like, as they're about to go out to fight, because the Romans used to build fortifications, he's like, tear down your own fortifications. Because then you'll know that you have nowhere to retreat to, and it'll make you fight harder. And, like, the enemies will think you're crazy.
Yeah, right.
Because then, like, you just torn down your base.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what I think Avant did. They were like, you know what, we could take the glass plant, but then I'm scared that coward Shock is going to try and dip on us with the Rise Portal.
Yeah.
So let's Rise Portal in, and we'll just fight for everything.
Yeah.
So it's like you're messing with their heads.
They're messing with their heads.
All I can think about is Bryce and I made some very brief eye contact.
I know.
there.
It's so hot in here. I'm just like, I walked in and in between the segment, Jake like is sitting over there and I'm just like, please turn the bloody aircon on. I made myself like a little, like, because my throat is sore.
Like, you're sweaty.
Yeah.
Well,
bloody,
he's very ill.
I got, no. Yeah. And like, I made myself like a honey and water for my throat. And then I sit down, so I'm drinking a hot drink and I realize it's 90 degrees in here. And it's a bloody disaster.
It's because, like, at the start of the day, it's
freezing.
real cold.
It was so cold.
Yeah.
I feel like we say this every 2 weeks, and it feels like complaining because it is. In fact, I'll
You're
tell you
a
what,
ninja.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Let's not start this game.
you're very damp right now.
Yeah, I am. I saw myself and I'm like, God, this is disastrous.
It is quite warm in here. We'll turn on the aircon. It will get very cold. So if
is
anyone
hopefully on.
in the Riot
It's already
office
on,
is
yeah.
watching, please, if you could bring down some more heaty Wheaties.
No.
If they're in the building.
Just cold water.
2 to 3
Cold-
heat.
A glass of cold water.
Okay, Bryce would like a glass of cold water, and I would like some kind of warming device. It doesn't need to be a heaty weedy if we don't have one.
Why?
Because I know it's going to get cold.
Okay.
We've turned on the aircon. I know
I can
this room.
already feel it. Can you not feel it?
I mean, yeah, but I'm struggling. I'm bloody struggling.
All right, well, how about we give you a very quick break because we're going to plug the High School League, which has started. We have a little recap video for us to enjoy. And while that happens, we'll dry Bryce off.
Welcome back for the second week of the Meta Top Plays. Kicking off our first entry is Melbourne High School's Bands and Negative, the bot lane duo forcing a successful fight against their lane opponents, Oku and Iron Panda, with Eels coming in to ensure Bands a double kill. The second play comes from Darwin High School's Jaw and Just Fan, flirting with the turret range, all the while able to grab themselves first blood. The third spot belongs to Endeavour College's 13,900 Essence, dropping a Flash Tibbers and Stun onto 3 members, which results in 3 kills for his team. We return to Melbourne High School for the fourth play. Bands is hard engaged on, but manages to escape right as the rest of his team teleports in. With EDCS burning all their cooldowns for the Kaiser, the fight is over once the teleports are complete. Our final meta play comes from Linfield College's Claire. The enemy team uses a control ward to deny vision to ensure they can start the dragon, but they smite a moment too early and Claire steals it for himself. Thanks for watching the second week of the Meta Top Plays. If you're interested in getting involved or just want some more information, you can visit metahse.gg.
Welcome back. Bryce melted. Like straight up puddled out of the room. He may return. He may not. We'll see.
He's not.
He's not coming back. I mean, at one point, and we shouldn't laugh because he's sick, but at one point he was like, I just need to dry myself up, and picked up a piece of paper and started dabbing his head with a piece of paper. It's like, that's not an efficient form of absorption.
It isn't. Then I could see him eyeing off my shirt.
Oh,
And
so could I.
I was just like, you better not, Bryce.
Yeah.
Like, we're good friends, and I'll put up with a lot of girl crap, but I ain't no head damper with my shirt.
And if anything, it should be his shirt because I said to him before we came down, it's a very nice cloth. He's wearing a thick weave. All right. Bryce isn't here, which is a real shame because we're going to head into one of the final rounds of Pro Caso for the split.
I can't believe you guys hadn't been eating these, by the way.
I've had 2 of these.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just had them upstairs.
Oh, really?
Because I'm a professional. I need to speak a lot during this segment.
Ah.
But then as soon as Bryce was
My
like,
bad.
I'm out, then I'm going, all right,
Well,
I'll
no.
eat on broadcast. All the gloves are off.
As soon as he shirks his responsibility,
Yeah.
like, what? We're unprofessional for eating?
Come
he doesn't
on.
even come to work anymore.
Come on, Bryce.
I was just sitting there casting the games, and I could smell them, and I was like, I'm so hungry.
So we're going to go into the first Pro Caso. Gentlemen at the desk, would you like to join in?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
Well, you have to, because we're eating.
yeah, we can't say anything. Okay, bring it up, please. They just get weirder and weirder.
Is that
I think
sharp?
okay.
I feel like
Guts is
Sharp's
in
in
this.
there.
Guts is in this.
That is correct. Who do you think Guts is?
I think
like
it's
which part?
I think it's the nose.
Incorrect.
What is it?
Is it Spooks' jaw?
I'm going to say yes. It's Spooks' smile.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay.
It could be his jaw as well, but it's definitely his smile.
So how many things are we looking at here?
We're looking at 4
So
pieces.
So what is it? It's body and head.
Yep.
So that's guts.
Nope.
Is it sharp?
Nope.
Ah, interesting.
Oh, wow.
You know, you've got
Smooth.
Guts is part of it, but we don't know what part, and we know it's Spooks' smile.
Well, then it
slash
has to be
jaw.
his eyes, because he said nose. I said the other thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got
That's
him.
about all that's left. Okay, cool. Process of elimination. Is the hair part of the body or is it separate?
The hair is part of the base, which you have not picked.
Okay.
You know how it
The
distracted
hair
me?
is throwing me for a loop, actually, because I feel like... Yeah, okay. I'm just going to trust the words that I have written down here.
The tally?
No,
No, I have no idea. I'm trying to think of people with a mop.
it is a jungler Procasso.
Belkan?
Nope.
I don't know what his hair even looks like. I just named it
So
jungler.
if it's a jungler Procasso,
So-
There
all
are only so
junglers.
many junglers in...
and we've already
League of
got Guts
Legends.
and Spooks, and we've said Balkan.
yeah.
So that leaves Swathe,
It's not Swade's hair.
Sybil.
Nope.
No.
How many guesses do we get?
No, I'm running through the junglers. I'm not
Yeah, okay.
guessing.
It's not
Only?
Prayless.
Yes.
It's not Prayless. Oh, it's only?
Yeah.
It is actually
That's
only?
why I was like, is that only?
Nah,
Is that only's hair?
not only.
That
That
doesn't
was
feel
that
like
was kind of a
Only's
trick
hair.
one.
Only has straight hair, or wears a hat all the time. I don't know, but I
Maybe
feel
it's
like
the
has
hat that
straight
throws
hair.
us off.
Only, if you're watching, come in the studio right now. We need to check out your head.
Yeah,
looking it
all
up.
right. So we're going to say it's only base model, but that could be incorrect. We got Spooks' smile. We got Guts' eyes. We need nose and ears. They're the same person.
Nose
ears
and
are the
ears
same.
are the same person.
Yeah.
And it's only junglers.
Only does have curly hair.
Yeah, okay.
Does he?
Yeah, it's his hair.
Yeah,
wave
but
to it.
like
No, that's his hair.
It is?
Yeah,
it is his
yeah.
hair?
That sounds
I
like
still
his-
need him in the studio.
I think he just wears a hat every time I've seen him, apart from when he plays League of Legends. Whose eyes are they?
It was Guts.
Guts'
wasn't it?
eyes.
yeah.
Ah, nose and ear.
Yeah, nose and ears. Are what we're
No,
looking for.
you've just given up. Time.
He's just eating his hotcakes.
Ah, man.
Jungler Procasso.
So one of your boys?
I mean, it could be.
I feel like it's kind of hard with nose and ears.
Give me a B.
B.
Give me an A.
A.
Okay, it's
Balkan.
Balkan.
Nope.
What?
What?
Oh. Babip.
Yes.
Oh, right, the other one.
Wow,
Correct.
50-50 and we got it wrong.
The Procassos are getting more and more disturbing looking as well.
Yeah, that one actually. The reason I stopped looking at it was because like I felt
you
like
were
it was
eating?
peering into
Yeah,
my
but that
soul.
one looks like it could be like that one is actually like a person, whereas
Yeah.
looking at the one from the caster week, it was like with Bailey's eyes, and you're just like, what is happening?
Because the thing is,
there?
in my head, is the more unrealistic they are,
Yep.
like the more I'm like, oh, this is just a game. Now I feel like we're creating people.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Uncanny Valley.
It's
territory.
we're meddling where men should not.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Men are about hotcakes.
That's right.
And we're meddling in the dark arts at the moment.
And speaking
Like, not hotcakes.
of meddling where we shouldn't, we've got one more, and I feel like it looks way worse than the
dear.
first one. So bring up the next monstrosity.
Oh,
That's Jake.
That's Jake.
It's definitely Jake's
That's not
beard.
even that's not even a Jake body part. That's just Jake. It's just a
How,
picture of Jake.
how are the ears on the cheek?
yeah. What?
Well, because it's 4 different people's
It's also a
face
different,
joined
it's a
together,
different
Rusty.
scale. That's the problem. Is this face is much larger than the base.
Oh my goodness.
So
okay.
that's Jake's
That's
beard.
terrifying.
It's
That
Jake's
is Jake
beard.
beard.
We're looking at 5 pieces for this one.
Yeah, because I
Those
feel
are
like
big
the beard
eyebrows.
is not attached to the head.
Is it
Yeah.
Chaz's hair?
It is not.
Ah.
Is it a support Procasso? Or is
No.
it?
Oh.
Is that Swiffer's eyebrows?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is a support.
Oh, it's
podcast.
support. Okay. Oh.
So
Deary me.
It's so funny because the person that when I saw this,
it's Rogue's eyebrows.
thank you very much. It's Rogue.
Do you know how I know it's Rogue's
went, it's
eyebrows?
Rogue.
Because I I went into Rogue's house every day. Well, Rogue came into my house. No, Rogue lived in. I don't know how to describe
Rogue lived
this.
at a house that you
Who
were at a
owns the
lot.
house, Jake?
I don't know. The people of the Republic own the house.
Just say you lived with Rogue.
Okay, I lived with Rogue, even
Yeah.
though I did not. And every single day, he would turn around and look at me and ask me to play a champion. And all I could think of is, you have really bushy eyebrows. So do you.
Yeah, that's what people say about me. But Rogue, I picked it was Rogue straight away because whenever I see Rogue, he always pins me down with those piercing eyes.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got a striking glare. And Rogue, I mean that with love. Okay, you've got eyes and eyebrows for Rogue, and you've got
And I've got
Jake's
Jake.
beard.
I've got 2 out of 5.
Oh, so
does
it's-
anyone else in this whole studio want to
Oh,
actually?
I'm so shocked that
Oh.
former Order or current Order players were picked by someone.
Have you seen
Okay,
any Avant
so
boys in there, Rusty?
we got 3 more pieces.
No,
What are
Aladar.
they?
I'm
It's
also
a
just really
support
bad at
Picasso.
these.
Yeah,
We're
me
looking
too.
for the mouth. We're looking for the base model, which in this case is very hard. I imagine it's just the
Yeah.
ears and the cheeks. And then the hair is separate.
Oh, the hair is separate. How the heck are we supposed to get the base model?
Is
Whose
it
hair is
Corporal's
that?
hair?
It is Corporal's base model.
Ooh.
So it's not even his hair.
I
don't-
could
so-
see Corporal, I just couldn't see where.
Well, you must really know Corporal's forehead because I feel like that's about as much of the base model. And you're winking at me, and it's like, yes, you do.
Okay.
No, I don't.
So we got 2 more.
So we have Order Bombers. Is there any Ayla in there?
Nope.
I don't think so.
No.
Corporal is already in there. So then we're looking at Destiny. We're looking
Destiny?
at I don't know.
The
Why do I
mouth
keep
is a
doing this?
distraction.
Crazy.
Yes, crazy. Crazy is the hair. But the mouth, it's a distraction. Another word for that would be you
A
throw it in the corner.
decoy.
A decoy.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
We did it.
Gentlemen, we did it. That's Procasso. I feel like that's probably...
Do you know the thing about Procasso?
Yeah.
We need to veto it unless Bryce is here. Because I feel like every other participant of Procasso is like,
because
I don't care
Bryce is
about
like
this
a
Destiny
sot.
game.
He just guesses
and then
like
Bryce is
everything.
like, I must know who everyone looks like.
Well, the funny thing is, we had scheduled for this. We'll just quickly smash through these Procassos, and then we'll get into implications of the game.
Yeah.
Then Bryce was like, I'm leaving. And Bryce is the one who's like, bang, 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 bang. So
Yeah.
suddenly it became the whole segment. And that means we are into the next game, which is, of course, Order versus Mammoth. While we're in Champ Select, I need you to send in your stories about cats and dogs, or cats versus dogs, your opinions on cats or dogs, to asknickboy@gmail.com, because that seg is coming up very soon. You have finished your hotcakes. I'm nearly done with mine. Let's throw to the desk and get into the next match.
All right, looks like we're about to get underway here. Rusty, cats or dogs? I think I know your answer.
Guess. Good guess. Yeah, dogs.
Yeah, if anyone's ever seen his timeline.
Thanks, Pyra. Just
Yeah.
leave me there.
You have the best dogs, dude.
I do have the
They're
best
great.
dogs.
Yeah.
100%. I have like 4 of them, to be fair.
I'm just angling for a lot more like videos to be sent.
I don't want to tell everyone my stories of cats or dogs yet. I want to save it for
Okay,
Nick
fine.
Boy
You
as
know what?
well.
I'll let you save that. How about this matchup? Because this, like all the games going forward, are a must-win for Order, but they do control their own destiny here if they can win out.
So to Mammoth, right? Like, it's just an important game for both of these teams. This is one of the ones that, like, you'll see games, you're like, this is a must-win. But as far as must-wins go, this is the most must-win, realistically.
This is the mustiest, winniest.
Especially for a side like Mammoth to lock it in. But Order, they can win 2 games and still make it. However, if they win 3 games, they are pretty much just guaranteed to be in. So winning this game is obviously one of those first big steps towards that fact, as we are well and truly into the draft.
Yep. The McDonald's champion selection. It is going to be starting off with, on the blue side, Order band away 2 supports and a mid-mage. It is Thresh, Rakan, the Zoe band away from Triple. That makes a lot of sense. And
Now the Morgana Callista ban by Mammoth.
Yeah, the red side Callista ban when Lucian is up. We'll be very curious to see how they go, Mammoth, with their last remaining ban here. I feel like you'd kind of bottleneck yourself into looking at Lucian, or you have a counter ready. They may just go for the Kai'Sa into the Lucian matchup, or like the Ezreal Braum, say we can take it on, it's not a big deal. And it's going to be the Braum actually that is taken away.
Okay, so that's an insult lock of the Galio, so high priority continues to be shown towards that pickup. And this does leave something like the Lucian available for King. Do you think this is what Mammoth pick here?
I just feel like this whole draft is super weird from Mammoth's red side at the moment. They've banned away a champion that they primarily would want on the red side. They clearly believe that, like, Braum is more important than the Galio, as at the same time, what we have to take a bigger note of is what Order have drafted themselves. Because they banned Thresh, they banned Zoe away from Triple, and Ricard away from Destiny, when Sylas and Lucian are up.
Yeah. And we haven't seen Sylas for a while because he has been global banned, but he's back, and Tapoon snaps him up when he hasn't been on the ban block, and King gets his hands on Lucian. So this feels big, Rusty.
And I cannot help but feel like Order forgot. Forgot about Sylas existing on the red side, because usually red side teams ban it away. So they didn't pick it, they prioritized the Galio, they didn't even take time to think about their first pick, they locked in the Galio, and so they must have something ready for this Sylas. They have to.
Well, Order will pick up an Ezreal for Dream here, and yeah, I want to see how they round this composition out with. It already starts to look like your 1-3-1 setup with the Rise being locked in for Swiffer there. Yes, that's a flexibility for Tally. We have seen him take it before. Mammoth, how will they answer? Pairing it with the good old Alistar. So the Alistar Lucian bottom lane is filled out here, and now we're just waiting on jungle and mid lane.
Yeah, Lucian, one of those really nice champions for compensating, you know, for an Alistar's weaker early game. Lucian also just very good at controlling 1v2s when he can. Ezreal being the AD carry of choice means that, you know, Galio Ezreal is not going to have a significant amount of kill threat super early, where Galio and other AD carry champions can. So, with the bottom lanes locked in for both teams, and what you would assume is a Ryze matching wherever the Sylas goes as well, you'd say that the draft is dead even here. And we look towards the second ban phase to see where priorities start to lie.
So, the Vladimir banned away against Tally. It is still a flexible choice. They can put the Rise up top, and that means now Swiffer would end up being in mid lane. So this is a little bit of a poser for Mammoth here. It's a little tough for them to know exactly what they want to be banning out, but Order don't necessarily have to worry about that. They ban the Aurelia away.
One of the other really good flex picks for someone like Mammoth. You know, Aurelia being able to go into two different lanes and soak in the Sylas, it just makes draft impossible to deal with, especially when Mammoth are on red side and get the counter pick.
All the flex.
You want to get rid of the strongest fourth pick options for Mammoth through the remnants of this draft phase. Aurelia is a good ban. I don't see another big flex that stands out to me right now, but Lissandra perhaps?
Lissandra would also be a pretty big choice here for Triple because it has been one of his most played champions outside of the Zoe, which is kind of eliciting a permaban at this point.
Yeah, but I just feel like he should be the Sylas. You know, Topoon should be the one who gets the counter regardless. There's nothing that, like, no matter what you pick in mid lane, Sylas is probably going to survive. If it's a hard lane range champion, he's just going to put points in his Q instead of his W, and he's going to clear the wave, and it's equalized. You know, you try and kill him, he's got Aftershock. He's just too good.
This is why he's such a strong champion, why you see him banned so often. The Nocturne's banned away now up against Babip. So, questions about to get answered. Mammoth lock in the Jarvan for Babip. It's already a pretty scary team fight.
It's also still a flex, so there's one that slipped through the radar. Jarvan can go top, Jarvan can go jungle. And now we get to see the response here out of Order. The choice of the Lissandra means whatever the jungler is has to be physical damage. It could be something like the Lee Sin, could be the Kha'Zix, could be not Nunu.
Probably not Nunu. There's your Bard Flash. We'll find out pretty soon, pretty shortly. Just waiting to see what that last choice of the jungler is. And the Rek'Sai being up and available makes a lot of sense for Spooks, so, you know, now they add a lot of engage potential to their lineup in order to have rounded out their comp.
Yeah, Lissandra has plenty of engage, as does the Galio. Rek'Sai is one of those complementary picks, and it does give the physical damage that the team needed. It has really good follow-up as well and can outplay a lot of their opponent's spells. However, if you're a Sylas and you have a look at your opponent's ultimates, you just get real happy. Just real happy.
Oh, I just remembered that Yasuo exists, and there's a lot of knockups on the Triple side. It doesn't matter, though, for Mammoth. They lock in the Azir for Triple. So Tapoon, after all, gets his hands on the Sylas, and Babip goes into the jungle with the J4, and all the questions are answered.
Yeah, so that means that the Sylas will be going to the top.
I wanted to see Yasuo. That would have been so sick.
I think it would have been super nice, but I also think that you probably wanted to put it in the top lane. I think if these were champions that Tapoon may have been considering. Triple is the Yasuo player, though, as you would expect on this team. So with the Azir locked in, remember, Triple played 2 games ago, got a pentakill with the champion to carry them through to a victory. Like, he is comfortable on the pick. Azir has always been seen as a good option into Lissandra. You don't usually die in laning phase if you run cleanse. You've got mobility to escape jungle ganks as well. Like, you just have a pretty good time, and you always outscale.
Yeah, now Mammoth, it's a good thing you mentioned that game up against Legacy, because that was just 2 hours ago. That was just 2 games back, and they were not happy with that win. Triple was talking to me on the interview saying, hey, look, you know, like we know that that wasn't clean. We know that that wasn't where we want to be. We still got the win, but we're going to have to go back, reset. Have they been able to do it? Have they been able to clear their mental? Mammoth is a team full of stars, but we know that they've been plagued by sometimes not being in the best space to win the games they're going to have to here up against Order. This is a win and in for Mammoth. They would not be able to be overcome by Order if they win it here. The tiebreaker, the head-to-head goes in their favor. But for Order, Destiny's still in their hands. They have to win it out themselves, and it also would start here. And joining us to talk about that is, of course, going to be the coach of Order. It is Choo Choo's. Welcome to the desk.
Thanks.
Good stuff, man. So you've been able to watch Mammoth earlier on. Did that give you a little bit of extra inspiration, a little bit of an extra edge, you think, coming into the game here?
Yes, it definitely gave us a good rundown of what they were looking to play today, which we did take into account in the last minute and like the couple hours between we played, after they played and before we played. But I think it didn't really impact our draft too heavily.
Yeah, of course, they also swapped sides during the draft, so a lot does still change for them. Now, talk to me about the Sylas. You've left this one up and available and didn't first pick it for yourselves. Do you believe as a team that Galio is a higher priority champion and that Sylas can be beat? Well,
we saw a lot of support bans, and we knew that, like, especially with their last ban in Brawn, that Galio's support was probably the most powerful pickup. We also have an answer to the Sylas, which is Rise, which we brought out really earlier on in this split. So that's something that we're quite familiar with. All in all, the draft went Mammoth draft very similar. Like, they don't change too much with Alistar, Azir, Jarvan picks, so this is a draft we're pretty happy with.
And we've spoken about the Sylas now, but for the viewers at home as well, Lucian has always been one of those staple picks that always seems to just rise above the other AD carries, and that's been given to Mammoth again. Like, I would imagine the viewers at home look at Mammoth's comp and say, that's just ridiculous, but you guys are fully prepared for both of those champions, not just the Sylas, but the Lucian?
Yeah, so Lucian has been very high priority a lot lately, but we recently started, well, we saw internationally that a lot of teams are leaving it up. And we thought, like, a lot of teams don't really get a lot of practice on it because it's always permanently banned. So we left it up quite a lot this week, and we developed very good counters and found that the results against it were doing quite well. So we were more than happy to let them play something like the Lucian, and we had answers in Galio, and well, this support matchup is very favored for the Galio, and Azul does relatively well into Lucian towards the mid-game, late stages of the game.
So you're feeling pretty confident about this game, but I want to zoom out just a little bit here, Choo Choos, and ask about the next couple of ones that you'll have. You face Mammoth right now. You're facing Gravitas and Direwolves later on. Of all the teams still fighting for playoffs, you do have what many consider to be the lightest schedule. Do you think that that adds to your confidence going forward that you'll be able to take a playoff spot?
Yeah and no. We've dropped games to like the bottom teams before, so we can't afford to think less of anyone really, especially when like we really need the wins to be able to qualify. So this week has been very rough for everyone. We've definitely put a lot of pressure on ourselves to perform, especially in this week's games. But I will confidently say that this week was very progressive. So I think we're coming in quite good form.
Always positive signs. One last question for you then. Back onto the riff for 1 second. How do you beat Mammoth in this game? What is your early game condition?
So we have the best support in the game, and we also have a pretty decent scaling composition. The Rise will eventually will be unparalleled in his split push. The Sylas can't answer the Rise a bit later on towards like 2-3 items. We also have the Ezreal, which can deal with the Azir's long-range oppression. So we have good answers to their long-range like team fight, hard engage, in the Galio Flash Taunt and the Ezreal's long-range poke, but we also have answers to punish, especially with the Lissandra Rek'Sai level 6 power spike. So we will be looking to like gain a lead in around that spike, Lissandra's level 6.
All right, thank you for joining us, Choo Choos.
No worries, thank you.
Lots of punishing going to have to happen in this game. That's absolutely true.
In order for, well, Order to take it out, Mammoth on the opposite side. I think, you know, we've talked a lot about how they had a very positive draft, a very good one where they unlocked a lot of solid picks for themselves. So I really want to see how Mammoth deliver here. Again, it is a team that's kind of built off of emotional momentum. It's full of superstars, but they had yet to live up to their potential as a team. Just getting that 10th win, still fighting it out for the Gauntlet.
A super early ward just placed there by Triple, you have to note, in the river. Just on the exact same position as his other ward, even before it dies, as Top's just suffering a little bit. But don't be too shocked by this, that's just the nature of the lane.
Yep.
Rise often struggles, but will scale up later.
Tally walks away from it. Otherwise, it's a fairly standard start. Both junglers actually matching each other on the side of the map they've chosen to go for here. So it looked like it was a red buff start either side.
And you may have noticed, Pyro, in some of the questions I asked, I would say they're fairly loaded with the undertone of, I think Mammoth got a really good draft. But Order clearly confident against it, and you can see that now.
Order looking for the play here, so Tally looking for a little bit of bait here as Tapoon absconded back in. The flash and first blood for Spooks. That is going to be a lot of pressure off the back of Tally, and Jake is even able to foil an attempt onto Dream.
Yeah, fantastic gank there. No vision available for Tapoon. Just wanted to crash that massive wave in, perhaps even get a recall off afterwards, but they're able to disrupt the flow. Tally will catch the wave, and it was a gigantic minion wave as well that collapses. So brilliant stuff from Order here. Protecting where they need to protect and preventing their opponents from poking or prodding and forcing any wounds.
Yeah, good start for Spooks especially. Let's see how the rest of Order continue to work with this here. Babbitt did go and take the opportunity to do a bit of counter jungling, just grabbing a little bit back for himself, considering he knew that Spooks couldn't be in the area after that gank. Dream and Jake forced back a little bit. But that's also kind of the nature of the lane, right? King and Destiny are going to be able to zone them out on the Lucian.
But that's the big takeaway for me is that Spooks is able to get a gank what you would call almost against the flow of the game. If top lane's struggling, if bot lane's struggling, it does actually open two areas that should be pushing for Mammoth, so they can look towards that. But to be able to get the gank off, you need to be aware of where Barbib is, either, first of all, or that they don't have vision in area to sneak it through. And they're able to sneak that one out. So bot lane still has push, top lane will be fine in the end. It's still just a Silas farming it up with Aftershock. Mid lane is always going to start to go towards Triple's favor, but usually after the first big items that come in, it goes more heavily.
Yeah, we got a lot more time before that ends up happening.
Yeah, which is a while away.
Spooks is going to be on this bottom side, but now he's spotted out. And meanwhile, Babbitt comes up for lane gank, just on the edge of the vision.
He just got spotted.
I think he did by Tally.
That pesky melee minion.
And he doesn't know he got spotted either. Tally can play around with this if he wants.
Yeah, but like put yourself in Tally's shoes for a second. You don't have vision of that bush. You know he walked in, but has he recalled? Usually junglers who walk into top lane for ganks have intent to recall straight afterwards. Tally has to play super safe. So the wave will crash. And so he leaves. Now this is good from Tally. What Babip doesn't understand is that he's aware. And so he will recall, but quite some time. And, you know, just one of the things of the game with ganks.
Ooh, flash in for Jake, and Spooks is wrapped all the way around the side. Destiny bops him back into tower range. However, King taking a lot of damage. He's taking tower shots, and King gets the play. Gets the kill here. Order's gank attempt on bot turns sour, and now Triple is under fire by two members of Order here as he tries to sidestep. Tally takes him down. Meanwhile, the play is still on here as Dream looking for extra damage, but King comes up with a kill. Dream goes forward. He's going to feed a Triple over to King. Into the brush he goes. Destiny can
wants
finish the job.
I think he's going to be able to get it. Wait, there we go. Destiny locks it down. Mammoth on the bot side just come up huge. The rest of the map, however, Tally, we spoke about top lane and knew it wasn't safe. He just comes mid and Triple, with both summoners up, is caught on the wrong side of the map sleeping, so he dozes off and is punished. That was a wild little series of events there on this rift.
Dust settles, and we have a 600 gold edge to Mammoth due to the difference in kills, but look at where they are at right now. King has two of them. Burns his summoner spells to make it happen, and Spooks really gets punished for that extended gank on the headbutt that Destiny gave him.
That's one of the strengths of an Alistar, right? You look at the setup, you'd think that's just so good from Order. They've got the Flash Galio taunt, but immediately they go towards the Rek'Sai. And that's the thing. She is such a fragile champion in the early stages of a game. You take her down at all, a single turret shot actually hurts. And they're able to punish that incredibly hard and even prevent DPS from Spooks that could have swayed that fight. One hit onto Lucian, and Dream actually gets the kill.
But it was a nice play in the mid lane because Tally, you know, recognizing, all right, I could back here or I could just walk it all the way to mid, make the play. Swiffer actually got his back delayed as well because Triple saw him over in that river. Now he'll have to teleport back into the play and after picking up his Merc Treads. Item buy is going to be a little slower here. Tapoon goes back to trying to bully out Tally, but he's working with a level disadvantage.
Yeah, Tally actually running low on mana is the bigger problem here because he wants to crash this wave in. And so he's going to be able to do that, but just barely. And if that wave was ever frozen, then Topoon's able to punish and, really make that one hurt. And saying that, the wave will still be frozen. It's just that he was able to clear the wave, push it in, and at least get a bit of gold before he goes back to base. And you can see the hunting is bottom.
Oh, man, they still continue to make these plays here. Now, Jake, he didn't have his flash. Remember, he started by making that play earlier on. Flash taunt in, Justice Punch, and he's going to give his life again to King. Picks up 3 now in less than 8 minutes.
Yeah, really tragic there for Jake and for the bottom lane of Order once again. You know how far ahead Mammoth are. 3-0-1 scoreline for King. You know how far ahead they will be in skirmishes then. But they still end up having to take those fights. And, Cutlass is one of those enabling tools that allows you to do that, as Swiffer is just alphaing right now. He's being a mid lane Chad. He has no one nearby. He's like, come at me.
There's the mind games. You never know if Spook's just going to be at his back.
Triple freaked out.
Yeah, he did.
I guarantee Triple was like, their jungler's here.
He was doing so much damage, too, and he backed off.
I mean, yeah. You can put yourself in a Triple's mind. I think he did the correct thing. Babib's hitting a dragon.
Yep.
He's not coming to help you.
He does secure it, so that's Ocean Drake picked up by Mammoth. The next one that does spawn will be the Mountain. Slow and steady. 1,000 gold lead over to Mammoth, though, after that another kill that King picked up. If we could toggle onto the gold, we can take a look at the big difference between the two. So normally, we look at an Ezreal and think, he's got Kleptomancy, he's going to keep it up there. But he's down 1,000.
He is indeed. It's not a good position to find yourself in as Destiny's. Psych.
Hex Flash Cow back.
You never know with Alistar.
Yeah.
Hex Flash, but he's going back bot lane. He's got his Mobies.
Wait, you see the pose, and you're like, oh, where's he going? Oh, he's out.
Could be anywhere in the 360.
Yeah.
For those that don't play Alistar, have Hex Flash. You can choose the direction as you're channeling as top lane.
And Topoon. Ooh, he's flashed away, but he's stunned up nonetheless. Let's see if Spooks and Tally can finish him off. Into Rune Prison he goes, and Tally fires some more magic into the back of his head. Now Topoon. Shoes on the other foot up there in that lane.
And every time you look at top, it is a big wave going one way or the other, as Babib may be in trouble.
And he steps in, flags and drags into Swiffer, though, but there's a lot of damage, and he's stunned off. Here comes Triple, flashing forward. Whoa, boy! And Triple gets himself a Shurima shuffle, as now he's zoned away from his own tower. Swag flag thrown down by Babib. In comes Destiny to finish the job in the headbutt, and he earned that kill.
I wonder if Destiny could have just left it at a headbutt and secured the kill for their mid laner, but nonetheless, Destiny... He's got those boots of mobility on. He is the speediest cow you've ever seen running around on the Rift.
Yeah,
so he's able to contribute to the back end of that fight.
If Swiffer is the Chad of Order, I think Destiny is on Mammoth's side, getting some swag plays around the Rift and claiming kills for himself.
If I looked at a team like Mammoth, and if there was one champion I would want to ban away from them, I would say probably Alistar. It is above and beyond Destiny's best champion. Of course, Rakan was banned, so it was a choice from Order. They took their choice. And
oh, look at this. They're playing with some fear here. And Flash Cow gets the knock up into the stun. And King just sends a Q flying.
That was a warning, Cowbell. Next time we mean business.
He hasn't flashed the Cowbell. He's just flashed.
Yeah, don't do that, kids.
I want to see more Cowbell for sure. Mammoth's bot lane having a lot of fun in this game, though. And that's good. Again, we've talked about how this team is an emotional momentum team. When things are going right for them, it continues to swing forward.
Certainly is. Topoon is the one really struggling. We didn't get a chance to talk about it because fights happen the second you try, but this whole top lane, this whole series of events up there since the first minute in the game has been slow pushes and big waves building. And the thing that stands out the most about that is that the junglers are looking at this area, but it's only really Spooks that's looking. And you can see that reflected through the kill difference, where the CS difference is still going nicely for Topoon. Most of this has come from the slow waves.
It has. And also, I think the combo of Tally and Spooks has really kept Topoon at bay. And it does go back to what Choo-Choo's was saying in the interview, that they did think that Ryze was going to be a good answer, and he's been able to hold his own, with a little help, but nonetheless.
Yeah, I would always say Ryze is a good answer later. You get the split push going, you have maybe 2 items. It'd be a pretty good point for Tally to really start to run away with it.
But they're keeping Topoon down.
Yeah,
That's
but they've put him down early, and that does mean that 2 items becomes potentially 1, as it already is currently control for the Ryze, and that actually does enable a lot of the 1-3-1 pressure that Order will have. When you look at the 3-man of Order, however, they are the ones that are suffering the most. They've got the 0-2 Galio, 0-1 on the Ezreal. So the risk here is if they ever initiate a 1-3-1, they could just die in the 3 very quickly to an aggressive dive from their opponents. Babib, oh god.
Oh yeah, he wasn't expecting that one. Flags and drags away from the blue buff. Party Portal coming in, Topoon's there, and the Rek'Sai ultimate stopped up for just a second by the gold! And it looks like Spooks is the one going down. They get the dunk on top of him, and Topoon
Destiny's in.
is going to be going for it. Destiny coming through. He's just going to have to wave goodbye to his teammate. However, Triple's also there to tag in, and just everyone going in for this party. In comes Swiffer now. Push back on the shuffle. Flashing away is Triple.
Yeah, matches flashes with Jake too, so very good cleanse flash coming out of Triple. Holds it for a little while, and you think maybe that's a mistake, but he actually gets to summon a trade back himself. Meanwhile, bot lane will be isolated, and that's not good news for Dream. But wild game so far, and the goal difference is barely there.
Yeah, just keeps on swinging a little bit. Mammoth do have the edge, but not by a whole heck of a lot. Now, King looking to fire down a couple more shots into this turret, get himself some more plating.
It's just a battle of bot versus top, and if I was Order, I feel like I would eventually just get armor onto Tally and put him next to King.
Yeah. And now Tally, we've seen another game where he's taken this Rise and been a side lane threat, but I remember they didn't win that one. It was very close, but
yeah,
I think Order's got a lot more going for him this time around. It is top lane, and it is the rest of the team.
There's a lot of moments in Order's games where if you go through their match history, you'll notice that Tally has a lead even in losses. Yeah, I think there was an Urgot game where he was 6-1, and they lost that game. And it's hard to say that it is just Tally's fault for something like that, but it does seem like he cannot translate his early leads into game victories for the team. And that is one big thing that we'll have to highlight in this game, because he will be primarily a split pusher. That will be his primary function. But can he get that done when there's a big Lucian killing the rest of the map? And then maybe they change the plan here, because as I was just mentioning, like, you can go Righteous Glory Rise, you can go Frozen Heart Rise, and you can just run King down if you wanted to in mid-game fights. He's far enough ahead.
He can. And that starts to turn things for him. Let's see how it ends up playing out. Babbitt does work on soloing this Dragon out. Finally, Triple will come through for a little bit of an assist. I wanted to check in on the blue buff pickup for Swiffer because it looked like he actually missed it. And then it might have been picked up by Spooks on accident, so next time we have him on screen, we'll see that.
No, he would have got it.
He did get it. Okay, so for a second it was delayed, and I was like, wait a second.
He hit it, but it didn't kill it. I think it had like 320 health.
I thought like Spooks might have had like red buff and gotten it on accident, but then no, it didn't happen. So, okay, so everything working out so far for Order. Mammoth do pick up another Dragon, though it's a mountain. This is going to help their sieging and their side laning. Dream's starting to move up.
Sieging is the key word that you raise. Turrets need to drop sooner or later in this game. You have to really look at both lanes that are winning and say, how are the turrets faring? Bot lane's not very good. On every cannon wave, you would expect that they step up. But Galio is one of those champions designed quite well to stop you from hitting the turret itself. Shen is the other one that you would look at. Having a taunt means that you take the turret aggro, and early into the game, that really does affect it. Where top lane is a melee champion against a ranged champion as a 1v1 isolated. So Ryze will definitely get chip damage onto that. But it's usually cannon waves. You know, Silas has a lot of wave clear, so on a cannon he's more enabled.
Babbitt was waiting by the red pit instead. A ward from Jake makes sure that he can't make anything happen without being spotted, but there are a lot of Mammoth wards here in this bottom side jungle.
Babbitt could have hit that towards where Destiny was standing. There's 2 wards there.
Unlucky.
I don't think that was luck.
Nah. I just like saying it. Mammoth have already taken down the tower, though, so as you mentioned, sieging very important. Mammoth get the first tower of the game. Order looking to answer on the top. Spooks waiting in the wings if Top Hoon gets a little too close, and ooh.
Yeah, he actually picks that up to try and prevent the dive. There's a world where Spooks uses the ult, and then Top Hoon matches it onto someone like Tally.
Yeah, interesting stuff. That's a good one to take. You know, it's been a while since we've gotten to see Silas, so actually it is always worth bearing in mind, like, what are the ultimates he's working with trying to steal here? You know, you've got the Lissandra ult.
He's got great ults.
He's got so many opportunities.
He's got brilliant ults to steal. Galio is a big one as well. If you're side laning and don't have teleport, you just waddle onto mid lane, steal that one, go back to the side lanes, and just say do it. Because he has a more impactful version of the current Galio's ult, if he has it.
A little bit of extra going on there. And he can close more gaps as well. The Hextech Protobelt does get completed by Top Hoon.
Lissandra's one's always big as well, Pyra, because if you ask me, I would say you are just better, Lissandra.
Well, it's flexible. It's flexible, right? You can do all that Lissandra can do. You can save yourself and heal up, or you can do a heck of a lot of damage to somebody. And in a comp like this that has like a lot of dunk, a lot of CC, you just get to layer that on.
Slow moves now from Mammoth. You would look at Rift Herald and say it's the primary objective on the map. There's no Dragon up currently available, as Mammoth have both of those, so I would say slight lull. Order should be putting a lot of their focus towards that area, but can they fight it is the question. Again, remember where their strong side is. It's on the opposite side of the map. And when you look at Mammoth, their strong side is on the objective itself. And it's also now on Swiffer's head.
Ooh, that's a lot. Yep, full channel culling. And he cleanses out. Swiffer forced to flash away. King going very aggressive forward. However, it's a summoner. burned for 2.
But that should just be the Herald. You would expect with that play, with the damage they put down, Swiffer forced to base, they may force his teleport, but they could have actually just moved to the Herald and foregone the teleport existing. The choice is theirs to make, because there's really no chance they're defending bot side. Spooks is down here. He's not defending the Herald at all. So they're going to go for the 2-for-1 play and not safe Swiffer, feeling of the teleport in the top lane. Doesn't want to do it. It's too risky, and he's right.
Mammoth splitting out with just about everything. Babip soloing on to this Rift Herald while the Lucian is on top tower. And Mammoth seem like they're going to be pretty content to get just about everything. However, they are trading tower on the bottom side, so Order do get one of those for themselves, but it is a little bit of a slower take here. King just firing them down fast.
Yeah, the strength of King has just spread Order so thin that Destiny's able to leave top lane completely. He's able to influence the rest of the map. The fact that Babip can solo the Herald while they're soloing top lane turret, no reinforcements, no defense available for Order. That's not a position that they can afford to go to. It's just so risky. But they're not utilizing the Ryze for any acceleration, just for trading. And that's fine. Again, they're still comfortable trading at this situation. Yeah. They still scale well. That's a lot of items done for Tally.
He's starting to really rack him up right now, still working on the tier build-up, but he's got a Rhyolized Crystal Scepter to top it off and working on even more. It's definitely a theme.
I hope it's a Righteous Glory.
That would be pretty terrifying.
Just because you get to say Righteous Glory.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, but like, recycled content is terrible.
Yeah, I suppose so. That's why I don't go on Reddit anymore. All right, 19 minutes into the game. Yeah, I did. You can't stop me. Still pretty even in the gold game. It hasn't really grown too much, and we've seen it really swing closely. Spook's waiting in this brush, and Control Ward comes down. Mammoth gets spooked.
Gives them the hello, boys. Now Babip still with the Rift Herald, may look towards mid lane. It's just about drawing pressure. If you can pull Order to a side of the map, right now they're all looking at the Dragon, then you would say that Mammoth have one extra tool in their toolbox. That's where tools go.
That is very true.
It just took me a second to remember what it's called.
You've had a few phrases today, Rusty. I love it. We have to remember the stakes of this game, though, right? This is for the head-to-head. Both these teams are currently on the 1-1. In order need to pretty much win every game to make it into the playoffs, Mammoth can lock them out with a win here. This is huge. It means a lot. And it really does. It's what we talked about at the very beginning.
Just to be clear as well for the Order fans, being locked out doesn't mean that Order are out of playoffs if they lose this game.
They're locked out of the head-to-head, excuse me.
Yes. They can still make playoffs Order with 2 wins.
But they can't beat Mammoth to that, and that's the key there. Mammoth would guarantee themselves the head-to-head edge in that situation, which is, again, there's so many scenarios, it's so complicated. There are so many things that can happen. It's kind of hard to keep track of it. That's why we have our giant fully sheets. But Mammoth have it in their hands.
And they have control of the top side. 3 control wards in the river is a big deal for controlling that area near the Baron. However, Order are looking towards the opposite side of the rift constantly with their pressure. It is a battle of Ryze versus the rest of the team. Tally versus the world right now.
And Tally, how far can he take it? He's very speedy, by the way, for just rocking the brown bags, and that's a Ryze for you.
Aftershock build too, so doesn't even have the phase rush move speed, just his passive.
Yeah, but once he gets that Righteous Glory, though, it's a whole nother level.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If he goes Frozen Heart, we're going to have words.
You don't need to slow everyone else down. You just need to go fast.
But he's got Rylai's to do that.
Yes, also, he also has slow down. It's just that way he doesn't have to get hit for it to happen.
Now, the reason that I actually really like Righteous Glory for Ryze is that it makes you almost like a secondary engage tool for a team. You can Ryze ult yourself into the middle of a fight, right? Righteous Glory guarantees that you'll hit your W on someone, and Rune Prison is one of the few spells in League of Legends that is just targeted crowd control. So that's one of the big things that I like about that build, to give people real reasons other than just saying the item's name.
True that. Everyone's starting to sniff around the Baron here. It's early on in this Baron dance. Spooks and Swiffer going for a ward clearing duty. King doing the same thing, but he's got to be careful. Swiffer was right at his back there. And as you mentioned earlier on in this game, it does feel like it is about bot versus top. Tally on one hand, King on the other. Nearly identical score lines. Nearly identical jobs in terms of how much weight they're going to be carrying here. Rift Herald does get popped.
The timeout summon of Rift Herald. They could have used it mid lane at different moments, but the turret has fallen regardless. Now as they group up, they will use this Herald most likely to secure vision in the river again. And they're just fresh back off a reset as well. They see Tally mid. They know that the strong side of Order is directly in the middle lane planted near the Herald, so they can force their way through. Alpha into the enemy jungle, get some vision control down, and prepare themselves for the eventual fight that has to happen sooner or later around this Baron.
Yeah, always sad when you see a Rift Herald doesn't get to have a charge, but
They
Baron is
just
going to
kicked
be
this
started
off.
by Mammoth. They just realized they have a moment
And they're
to do
dodging
it.
the vision as well. They've got mobility to get in there. Lucian, Jarvan, Azir, they've snuck in.
There's no reaction
Order
from
should be able to sniff this. They've just reset Mammoth. Something has to be up, but they don't know.
What a sneaky play from Mammoth. They get into the pit, very narrowly avoiding the Rift Scuttler vision, and they take a Baron shy of 23 minutes.
And that's such a big Baron for them. If you look at Tally's side laning, it gets harder to do. You can't just push in now against Baroned up minions. You run out of mana in the process. And they've got such a good four-man unit here, Mammoth. They group up in mid lane. There's so much pressure between all of them. And now you can't safely clear minion waves. The Iceborne Gauntlet's not going to just clear those minion waves. Pressure is on for Order. They have to make a play to either prevent turrets, which could be a pick. You know, you find one member in the jungle caught sleeping, it could help them a lot. But who do you pick? It has to be Triple or it has to be King. And they both have Flash and Cleanse, Pyra.
And they're the hard ones to, they're the hard ones to take down. They both also have dodges.
It just means that Babish
Dashes.
is the primary that you will probably find in the jungle. You know, he's with Destiny, they both place Vision, but there's a Guardian Angel, so there might be time for his team to come
There's
around.
no good target, really. I think that's the key here, is that it's going to be hard for Order, even if they do manage to find a pick, to find one that's preferential here. Claw not taken.
But it is still spooky.
It's still very spooky, but Mammoth don't care about spooky. They've got the playmaking potential here. Destiny going in. King taking a lot of damage into the backline, and Babbitt tagging forward. There's the shutdown onto King, but will it be enough as Mammoth just keep going forward? And look at the Sand Soldier damage going
Tally.
left, right, center. Tapoon going in onto Tally, taking a lot of damage as he's trying to be a one-man army as Spooks is running back to the tower. Nothing for him to do here. And Tally, I think he's run out of steam as the rest of Mammoth collapse and take him down.
Yeah, nowhere to go for Tally, and just Dream left standing at the end of that fight. And they do shut down the Lucian. They do get the kill that they're after, Order, but the cost is way too high. And now they have to retreat. They've got the Baroned up opponents barreling through, taking turrets. Not good for Order.
And now Triple going in, forcing Dream to flash away. Chains come on, and Tapoon steals the True Shot Barrage. They'll just let the Baron buff minions do their job, and Mammoth getting quite a lot out of that. Here comes the True Shot. Jake tanking the front of it. 25 minutes on the clock, though, and that's the biggest lead we've had opened up here by Mammoth.
And it's map control as well. They get the bot lane inner. That's so big for controlling minion waves. They are set up very nicely here, Mammoth, to continue to snowball this game out. But as you highlight, the gold lead isn't that significant by any means. And you know, we'll see this fight again. Destiny's the one going forwards. King cops a lot of damage, kiting and juking back and forth. And it's actually Spooks that's able to hit that one home with the constant poke from Dream. And notice that Mammoth, they see the Ezreal. They're like, but he's not really something that we even care about right now. He can poke us all he wants. We're just going to kill the rest of the map. And that's exactly what they're after.
Yeah, poke only works when you're able to keep that distance between the two. Mammoth made it even longer. So, Dragon goes down in favor of Mammoth to take an air to round out the elementals they picked up, and there will be another air spawning later on in the game. Not the big fighty drakes, the most exciting ones, but nonetheless, Mammoth have been controlling those particular objectives. As Destiny taking very low, Swiffer as well.
Oh, they're going.
Spooks, they really want to make this play, and he gets pushed back and around. Ultimate's on, looking for the damage onto Triple, but he gets taken out. Jake going forward, getting the taunt only on to Destiny, and Tally unloads magic onto him, but it's just not quite enough as Swiffer forced to put himself in the frozen tomb, and Tally taken down. Double kill, going the way of King, and Jake wants to keep this fight going, but it's Tapoon chasing him down. The triple kill for King.
And it almost felt desperate from Order with the force on that fight. And that's what it is. It's a big force. But they see the numbers advantage. They see their window of opportunity. And they say, this is the moment that we go for the play. But even after the dust settles of that fight, there is still a cleanse for Triple. There are still summoner spells available for the side of Mammoth. So they weather that storm brilliantly. Good discipline, good patience. And they still push forwards.
Mammoth looking to close out the head-to-head and make it a lot harder for Order to qualify for the playoffs. Mammoth, even though they had a win that was very nearly not one earlier today against Legacy, this is looking cleaner. It was very back and forth, but they have closed some angles. They've closed some of the gaps in their play up against Order right now.
And this just puts so much more pressure onto Order in their next games if they lose this one. The goal difference, 8,000. Swiffer
going in onto Destiny.
Hunting, but
Babbitt's here,
Babbitt's
though.
here.
He can tag team. Whoa, that's a big True Shot Barrage, though. And here comes Tapoon. So 3v1, they're going to be able to do it. Order,
dearie me.
push back, a lot of damage, and this is just looking like shooting fish in a barrel, especially if you're King. And Triple, for that matter. He gets himself a double. And now there's hardly anybody left on the Order side. It's just Tally.
Where's he going?
He's out of there.
They've got one cannon.
You got to defend your base.
He wants to clear the minions, but there is a single cannon minion alive. I think that Mammoth have just won.
Looking like
Tally.
they're going to be able to do it right now. Tally realizes he can't get a whole lot done here. One Nexus turret is going to get fired down. And this game, it really just opened up a whole lot in the way of action. And it's 28 minutes on the clock when Mammoth close it out on Order.
The first play in the top side was definitely a force, but it's a fair one. The second trade in the top side was desperate, but they were trying to pick someone again, and Mammoth still not resetting. There may be no synergy in the hugs for a Mammoth at the end of the game, but they get the wins, and that's all that matters for them the most.
I think the team synergy is probably a little more important than the hug synergy. They can work on that one when they make it further into the gauntlet, Rusty, but they got 2 wins today, and that's got to feel good going into your final matchup tomorrow.
Absolutely. Going 2-0 on the day is very important for them. They've shown the mental resilience to come back from their first game, almost going down to Legacy. Bounce back into this second game, momentum with them, and that's scary to see that they can have momentum as a team and be able to use that, especially when you start to move your scope towards best of 5s.
Yeah, and then they kind of played a solid, just like team fight. That, I think, was the key there, because at that point, Tally was starting to get out of hand. He was starting to cause a lot of pressure, and what do you do when the 1 of the 4-1 is too powerful? You attack the 4.
And just to reiterate this for those at home as well, this doesn't mean that Order is out of playoffs by any means.
They still have a chance. They just can't get the head-to-head over Mammoth.
Over Mammoth they can't, but they still have the opportunity. They play against Gravitas, they play against Direwolves, the opportunities are there, and they play again later today, and that's when we'll really see what Order has to show for us.
Yes, indeed. And, man, what a game it was for Mammoth, really getting some of that confidence back for them. Really excited to see how far they can go. Let's go ahead and send it back over to the couch for now.
All right, we both just quickly put our hands down there. Yeah, pretty close there for Order. A lot of tension going into that game. And unfortunately, not going to take that one out, which means Gravitas need to lose all 3 games for Order to get through.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of the situation now is that Mammoth, with that victory, like let's talk about the positive first.
Please.
Locked into Gauntlet, like as far as my knowledge has, like they've got 11 wins, Order only had, no, they have like 10 wins, Order can only get 9 wins or something. So they're done and dusted. They're in the Gauntlet. They played that game very well.
Feels good, man.
Absolutely. I think at the same time, Gravitas are now going to play against Bombers, Chiefs, Order. They have to lose all 3 of those games for Order to have any chance to come in. Obviously, we don't know the outcome of that. Speaking a bit about this game in particular, Tally's best champion is Ryze. I think that if they think that is a good matchup for Ryze, then like it is playable, and he certainly showed at certain points in that game. Like,
it was a great start.
Yeah, 4-0. Where it kind of went disastrously wrong is that Order tried to win both sides of the map at once. Like, whilst Tally was doing a very good job of collapsing on Triple and trying to secure Swiffer a victory, they went bottom lane with Spooks. They tried to, kind of win everywhere at once, and Destiny outplayed it really masterfully. And this is kind of the thing that Alistar does. With Aftershock, really tanky, provides a lot of disruption in CC, and I think that they played on their creep wave really well, and they turned to 3v2, which kind of turned the tide of the game, because, Galio and Ezreal shouldn't lose that heavily, but they certainly won that situation. They won the 2v3. They took over the rest of the game, and that pressure from King to just be able to translate around to other turrets really secured them all the early dragons, secured themselves that Rift Herald, and it didn't matter how far ahead Tally was, because King's champion just comes online much earlier. Lucian is one of the best 2 automated carriers in the game, and Destiny and King really ran a clinic on how to translate power in that game.
And moments like when they take that Baron and Order just don't know what's going on, that just feels like Mammoth finding their feet, finding that sort of like gauntlet run where they need to get that momentum, and it feels like they're on their way tonight.
Because unlike Advanced Baron, like they had the whole of the way to Baron watered. So if like Order ever walk in there, they just like dip out the side and they're like,
prepped.
No loss, like no harm, no foul kind of thing. And Order at the same time, they thought that they just dropped Rift Herald to guarantee a reset off the map. So Order are like, whew, thank God, we get like another 2 minutes of playing League of Legends before Calvin hits us in the face with all of his items. So I think that that was actually a really smart timing coming off the Mammoth lineup. Probably shouldn't credit it because Destiny, I don't know whether he called it. But what I'm thinking is like at that stage of the game, like it's a free reset kind of scenario. Like 9 times out of 10, you handshake the Rift Herald reset, and Mammoth this 1 time out of 10, snuck away the biggest objective on the map. It was really well played.
Well, let's find out if he did call it, because Destiny is sitting at the desk with Pyro.
All right, well, since you already spooned for the question over, did you call that?
It would have been either me or Leo, but I think it was me because I kept like
Hey, look,
walking
if
up
you're
to the
not
Rift
sure,
Herald.
just take the credit for it.
Yeah,
right? That's how that
I'll take
works.
the credit for it gladly.
Yeah, and I feel like it was such a much more clean game from you. Obviously, there were some things that to be worried about in that game. Tally was starting to get pretty big on one side of the map, but on the other, you guys had some pretty solid play. You denied the Rek'Sai gank. Like, were you surprised they gave over Alistar, a champion that's been your bread and butter?
Actually, no. Mainly because I have a negative win rate with Alistar at the moment in the OPL. It's something that has been really like hitting me recently. I'm like, how do I have a negative win rate on one of my best champs? It doesn't make sense. So
now you started attacking.
Yeah.
In your
So
favor.
like today, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna win today. Like I'm sick of this. So yeah, I was a bit surprised when I saw the bans, but I was prepared to play it, and yeah, it worked wonderfully.
Cool. So what's the mood in the camp? I mean, I know after the last game that felt like it could have very easily been a legacy victory. Things were a little somber. Is everyone feeling pretty good now that you've stacked 2 in a row?
After the first game, we were actually like pretty frustrated because the game was really long, and obviously Legacy aren't in the gauntlet, so obviously a sloppy game coming from us. But at the end of the day, like a win's a win. We were all like, I was pretty happy. Like I was just glad we won. If we lost, it would have been like a bit of a different story. But yeah, taking 2 games today is pretty good. I think we're guaranteed gauntlet. Not 100%.
Not quite. So we did the math kind of in the back of it in my head. You are so close, by the way. I'll read it out for you. You're guaranteed at least a tiebreaker into the gauntlet now, so you'll be fighting out for 4th, 5th.
So
that feels pretty good, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. And, you know, I think for Mammoth, it's a team that, you know, you're all superstar players, and there was a lot of question marks when you weren't, like, keeping pace necessarily with Bombers, which clearly they're looking super strong. Are you feeling like you can build up to that point by the end of the split?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the 2 biggest surprises this split was probably like Bombers' dominance, Chiefs somehow taking 2 games off them, and us like just losing. Like I don't think anyone expected that. It's come a long way since the beginning of the split, and look, like whatever happens in the gauntlet, like the best team will win. And yeah, I think we're all pretty happy with how we're progressing forward. Like we've accepted that we aren't a top team, and we just need to work towards it and put in the work. And if it doesn't happen, like it's on us.
Well, 2 games, not a bad start for it, so looking forward to seeing the Bombers game tomorrow. Now, we are going to go ahead and take a quick Macca's break. We'll be right back.
We don't believe in labels at Macca's, like dinner or breakfast, so we're getting rid of them. Now you can enjoy dinner or breakfast whenever you want it. McDonald's all-day menu, available 24/7.
Hello, welcome back. Clearly, Bryce has still